Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Emery Daniel. This is Communication 5531, utilizing social media for strategic communication. I have to apologize that this is coming a little late. I recorded it earlier this morning and realized that there was no sound or visuals to go along with the video that I created. So I am having to do it again. That's no problem, but it is something that it's going to come a little later today. So apologies preemptively, but I want to go ahead and get started talking about some of the policies in terms of what you can expect for this class. So there's a number of things I want to go over and talk about with relation to this course. Now, some of you have already gotten started on that, and that's great. Please make sure that if you want to go ahead and get a head start on everything, please do so. Otherwise, this is what this video is for. So we see here, utilizing social media for strategic communication. This is a graduate level course here at App State through the Cratis School of Graduate Studies. What this means is we're doing things a little bit different than how you would do in undergrad. This is a much more rigorous course in the terms of how much content is going to be delivered, the writing expectations I'm going to have for you, as well as the intellectual property in terms of your work. So this is a lot of not only reading, critiquing, but also building and inventing new conceptual areas within social media, and putting your takes in terms of what you know and what you think would be beneficial towards other organizations that might not be doing it as well. So this is kind of the start of this particular course. So a couple things to get started before we actually get into a little bit of the expectations as well as the first week of this course. First and foremost, my name is Dr. Emery Daniel. This is my email, daniel.es@appstate.edu. Note the E in this, and the ES, that's really important. It's not Daniel S, it's Daniel ES, because that's my first and middle name. When you're writing emails, just as a general rule of politeness in my mind, please start with a salutation. Dr. Daniel is what I prefer, but at the same time, if you want to say Emery or Stephen, basically anything that's not derogatory, I will answer it. But start with a salutation if you're sending me a quick email. That's my phone number, 828-262-2407. I honestly don't check my phone that much, and if I do, I'll respond via email. It's just that I'm more accessible on my email than I am my office phone. I also have Skype. If you ever need to contact me and you don't think that an email will suffice in terms of office hours, I can be reached through there. Also have my Twitter. I will make a brief mention that if you've gone on to As You Learn, you may have noticed that I have you follow a specific hashtag for this course. However, it is not mandatory that you follow me on Twitter. I noticed that one person did. That's great. That's fine. I might flood your social media, just FYI. I post a lot, and a lot of it is about geeky things, gaming things, that kind of thing, just because that's my social media presence. And that's kind of how I attribute my brand, if you will, on social media. So just be wary of that. That's what you're getting yourself into if that's what you decide to follow me. You do not have to. I want to make sure I reiterate that. And then my YouTube is Emery Daniel, Daniel ES at appstate.edu. It has some stuff that I've got from this class from last year, as well as a bunch of stuff from advertising, social media, persuasion. I've taught advertising ethics on this. So it's a collection of videos. You're more than welcome to check whatever you like. And I've got a small library of things and topics that are really important in my mind. And I think it's a good resource. And if you want to check out any of those, you're more than welcome to. So I won't go over the course description. I just will mention that a lot of this is based on what we know about social media and strategic communication. And we'll go a little bit more further into depth tomorrow of how we define strategic communication. But the essence is how we find problems. And with those problems, is this a problem that we need to address through things like advertising or PR or whatnot? And how we go about doing that through an outlet like social media. So we'll go over some topics in that area, but you can kind of see within the content outline in terms of talking about history of social media, certain tools that we'll be looking at. I'll often show some analytics from various social media sites to kind of help out in this. Audience identification and analysis, we usually do a lot of journal articles to help explain with some of that stuff. Engagement and strategies. This is really important in terms of how we go about a strategy through a campaign within social media and so forth. Content marketing, crisis communication, metrics, legal issues. There's one going on right now that's really hitting hard in terms of COPA. We'll talk a little bit about that. That's kind of a fun thing to look into. But the big thing is to be able to understand social media, be able to use it effectively and strategically. The thing that I've always noticed within strategy and social media is that a lot of people understand what it is, but really don't understand the components of what we can do to make it better, and how can we optimize things like having a brand structure and how to post. Because I work with several colleagues that own a brand, and I work with them, I participate with them on certain events, and the problem that I see more and more is that when I'm associating with that brand, we find ourselves not posting in a way that makes sense. And we could do things so much better. And that's where I really want to help in terms of getting into some of those learning goals, if you will. And so you can read through this. You can see assignments and activities. First and foremost, blog posts and reflections. And I'm going to try to minimize that and show, let's see here. There we go. You can see some of the things in terms of blog posts. I've got an About You. I've been off this page for a minute, so I gotta let it load up again. So I've got the About You, and I've already got a couple people answering this, but it's your name, where you're from, some hobbies and interests of yours. I do want you to create a Twitter handle. You don't have to keep this up. Some of my former students have kept their Twitter profile and post frequently and have really gotten into it. Others were like, as soon as this class is over, I am taking a social media break. I am done. I am never picking this thing up ever again. And that's fine too. As long as you have it for the class, I am fine. Please express an interest in an organization to study their social media strategy. This can be local, nationwide, or international. It is completely up to you. But basically, by the end of the semester, I want you to do an assessment about what can be done better based on the reading materials that we've done so far. Please ask for permission for the following group. It's right here. In terms of the Facebook group, I've had I think 3 people, as of the recording of this video, join in, and I think I've only got a few more. So make sure that you sign up for that. That's going to be kind of our hub. This is a good time to be posting things that you find. If you find something interesting that you want to talk about within social media, whether it be trends or tools or analytics, or maybe it's a blunder by a company that somebody did something stupid on social media, send those out. Put those in there and let's discuss them, particularly within readings that we're discussing that week. So what I encourage for good participation for this class is, if you find something that fits in with the material that we're going over that day, or that week, through the readings that we're talking about through the assignments, that's a good time to be talking about it within Facebook. And you can actually see, I'll go ahead and look this up real quick. There's actually something really cool in that we've got participants from last semester who've already contributed and had an entire semester's worth of information being published on this particular Facebook group. And that's really beneficial because, we can still look at not only some of the current areas within social media, but also we can look at things that have been said, some opinions that have been made, this kind of thing. And this is what I really encourage everybody. This was actually a really good group last year of posting stories and posting information. So again, really invite you to get involved and be a part of the participation for this. Share me your email so I can add you on a Google Drive for anything for sharing purposes. And then your blog URL. That's going to be important. You're going to have a weekly blog, or excuse me, you're going to have a blog that I'm going to post a topic. I'll show you here in a minute, but there we go. You won't post on the forum, you will post on your blog. And it's kind of like pop blogging, if you will. It's not a pop quiz, it's a pop blog. I won't tell you what week I'm going to tell you to post, but I am going to have you post. I think it's probably about 5 times out of 8 weeks. So just kind of be on the ready to post on your blog about whatever question I have for y'all. That's going to be really important. So just make sure you're on top of that, and it'll be due by that Monday of each week. So, I'll sign it on a Monday. It'll be due the next week. So, most of these things I'm going to give you a week here. So that's kind of blog post and reflections. You can see what I was talking about in Twitter and Facebook. This is just participation. And as you can see down in the bottom here, it's more or less worth 20% of your overall grade when you factor in both social medias. So, make sure you're on top of things and just participate. That's the best way that you can succeed easily in this course. The next will be the case study, which I will post sometime either today or tomorrow, as well as the social media planning project. We'll talk about that more as we go along here. Class policies, the biggest thing is being able to make sure you write your papers effectively. Let me know if things are going on in your life that I know a lot of y'all are probably working jobs within these classes as well. So if that is happening and there's something going on, goodness forbid having a death in the family, or whatever it may be, if there's something that is impeding your progress and you need to reach out to me, please make sure to reach out to me early and let me know. So I like to think I'm an accommodating person, but I'm more accommodating when I know what's going on versus after the fact. So please make sure you mention that. It's about participation. It's obviously not about making sure you have good academic integrity. As far as don't cheat. I don't do tests, but don't plagiarize. That should go without saying, especially for graduate students, but you'd be surprised of what comes up every now and again. If you have a disability or there's a religious observation that needs to be recognized, let me know early or as early as possible. So again, I can accommodate that for the appropriate time. Like I said, I'd like to think that I do a good job on that. But again, the biggest thing is just letting me know early and just having a note for me. And I greatly appreciate that if that's done. The other thing I want to show real quick is the reading list. Like I said, it's week by week. And as long as you're responding by the following Monday, you can kind of go at your own pace for all of these, and you can even go ahead if you'd like, but it's good. So let's say week 1, this is week 1. If you want to post something that you see that's maybe even more updated than what I have on 2019 of the state of social media, and then just kind of progressing as we go along. I'm going to be adding readings as we go. So a lot of these will be academic based. This is very pop oriented, easy reading. The rest of the materials that aren't up here will be much harder. If you have questions about it, let me know. They're very jargony based and might require some time. So I'm happy to go over them, happy to talk about them. But, I will expect you to be reading everything as much as you possibly can and then reflecting on it as much as you can. So the last thing, but you can see it's week by week. And again, you can go at your own pace. So if you're a person that likes to do things in one night, that's fine. If you're the kind of person that likes to do it over a period of time, that's fine. I included a week 9. I don't know if we'll get to it, but crisis communication is really important. And I'd like to at least dabble into it if we can't get into it for a full week. The last thing I'll mention is I want to do just a little bit about myself, just introduce myself a little bit. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm all about small talk and I'm all about talking with y'all about, what is it that you like? What is it that you want to cover? That's really important to me. And by doing that, again, doing a little small talk about things that are going on in your world, and by doing so, things that are going on in my world kind of help ease a little bit into this course. So this is me. I might do a couple of videos where I'm just talking into the camera, or typically I just do this where you can just hear my voice and I show things on the screen. I was once a student here at Appalachian State once upon a time, but went to Virginia Tech and then NDSU, where I taught and got my master's and my PhD there. I've got some experience in terms of working in advertising, as well as some competitions within the university here at App State and North Dakota State as being an SAC co-coach and a coach. That's the National Student Advertising Competition. But I've worked in newspaper, I've worked in sales, I was a lecturer for a number of years, and I'm actually the social media director and web editor for NCA Mass Comm Division, as well as helping out with some of my former students for Wish Fast 5K, which is in North Dakota. Research interest, I do a lot within advertising, so this fits really well. And I guarantee you will see a little bit of parasocial interactions and relationships. We talk a lot about social media influencers. This is my baby. This is my my claim to fame, if you will, in terms of this research line. I'm well known for it, and I love doing it. Well, we will get to a segment where we talk about it, and I hope you like it. If you don't, we've got other stuff. I do a lot of research in gaming, streaming, computer-mediated communication, which is just interpersonal, but with a screen in front of us. Again, we'll talk more about that. Audience analysis with media planning, and then corporate social responsibility through things like crisis communication, public relations, advertising, that sort of thing. I'm born and raised in Nash County. I'm from Rocky Mount, so I'm a local North Carolina boy. However, if anybody asks, I usually just say I'm from Raleigh. I enjoyed my time in Raleigh a little bit better. No offense to anybody that's from Rocky Mount, just saying I enjoyed the bigger city a little bit more. This is my better half. Her name is Melissa. She is a wonderful, wonderful human being, and significantly smarter than I am. She's actually part of our communication department now. She is our administrative specialist. So if you come into the area to the communication department, make sure to say hi. She is a wonderful human being, and holds this department together. These are our fur children, as we call them, Bjorn and Nella. I'm realizing that these pictures are a little outdated, as there's a lot more white on both of their faces. They're old dogs, but we love them. These are our children, if you will. It's good to be home in North Carolina. I do a lot of traveling. However, if I'm here, I do a lot of hiking, I do a lot of skiing, I do a lot of running. So if you see me on the Greenway or on campus or something, wave hi. I always appreciate it when I get a little motivation for running, because sometimes it's a little difficult. But mainly it's stats and good beer. I love beer. I love stats. I've actually published in both of these fields, as a matter of fact. Other things, I love sports, love them. Talk a lot about college football, but I love hockey. I love the NFL. I love the EPL. And we have kind of a range in terms of teams that are really good. Mountaineers, NDSU are really good. Teams that are kind of in the middle here, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, and Buffalo. And then my poor West Ham and Pirates, and they're not so good. And then I love entertainment media. I love watching television. I'm a huge cinema nerd. And I play a lot of video games and watch anime and that kind of thing. So, I try to, especially when it comes to entertainment media, I'm usually pretty open in terms of, we're watching Watchmen right now, which is a really good series, that sort of thing. So in conclusion, for this particular video, and I want to be able to just kind of sum this up, when we get into this particular class, you might be a person that's really into social media. You might be a person that really wants to bring a social media campaign to whatever business you're working for. You're fascinated by it, can't get enough of it, and that's great. That's really a course of what this is designed for. But I've had students in the past that They're like, I don't use social media. In fact, I abhor its very existence. And I would encourage you, if you're in that camp, first and foremost, don't panic. It's not, this class isn't for you. This class is very much for you. It's hopefully seeing social media in a little bit of a different light. Not to say that there aren't positive and negatives towards it, and a lot of things that are in between. I want to be able to demonstrate some of the advantages and disadvantages of social media. I want to be able to talk with y'all about how social media works, and what are the benefits of using it, creating narratives, creating strategy, and where it can be useful for organizations and yourself. So, if you are a person that can't stand social media, I encourage you to ride the wave a little bit. You know, one of my favorite professors, he studies communication technology and robots, and he's like, I can't stand my phone. He hates technology, and yet that's what he loves to research. I kind of want us to gather that mindset of, it may not be exactly what I'm into, but it is something that I want to at least explore the options for what it's worth. And so if you can do that, be respectful in arguments. That's going to be my last thing, is when we're talking about this kind of stuff, it to me, it doesn't really matter if you love this stuff or hate it. I want us to be able to not only express ourselves through personal experience, as well as the readings we've done, and so forth, and express it in such a way that's respectful towards others. I will make sure that if there is dialogue that isn't respectful, I haven't had this problem, but if there's dialogue that isn't respectful, we're nipping that in the bud. So I'll make sure to send that person an email and let them know that this is a graduate level course, and this is some higher level thinking than a normal class would be. So I want to make sure that that's established and noted, so that we can have a good time in this class and really learn something. So that's all for me today. I will be recording another lecture tomorrow and explaining a little bit of strategic communication, as well as getting into some of the assignments and so forth. So hope you all have a wonderful Monday morning. Hope the rest of your classes go well, and I will talk with you all soon. Okay, bye.